Okay, we're live. So yeah, with the Lone Star case, so it says when Jack called corporate counsel, he forgot about caller ID. The lawyer used the information he gave her to figure out the people he was talking about. She contacted the Lone Star EEO, which launched a formal investigation. The EEO tried hard to get Martinez to cooperate. French denied all charges, claiming that Martinez had made up her story to protect herself from pending layoffs. DeCoste was asked for evidence, but he didn't have any. Julia Martinez's husband found out what was going on, beat up Julia, and forced her to quit. French survived the investigation, only with a bruised reputation. He blamed everything on DeCoste for calling corporate counsel. There was so much animosity between DeCoste and French that DeCoste left the company after 3 months.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting. Huh. That's interesting because it's a bummer about the caller ID part. I mean, you can't make an anonymous tip about
Yeah.
a situation.
Yep. I was. Yeah. That was kind of. I think it's disappointing to find out about, and
Huh.
yeah.
Are these real cases?
Yeah, they are. All of the Harvard cases are basically companies go to Harvard and say, okay, we have this problem. Will you analyze it, figure out alternative solutions, and let us, yeah, and basically just for improvement and things. And I know with this one, it seemed more like Harvard went out. Oh, excuse me. Harvard went out and actually found an example of a sexual harassment case that had happened, and then went from there.
Interesting.
I know some of the ones I've done in the past have been okay. Here's the problem. Like there was one about a flour mill that we went over and reviewed, and basically they're like, here's our problems, here's our competition, what are we gonna do? And Harvard went in, analyzed it, gave them suggestions. Here's the best things to do to keep you in business. This is where the market's trending towards. That the other millers aren't going to catch. And so that was kind of cool.
Interesting.
We went back to we started reviewing company history. I think the case was 15 years old or something like that. But we went back, started reviewing company history, and found when Harvard had given them the suggestions and what they'd changed.
And did it work?
It did. They were in business and out of debt and doing well. They'd focused in a little bit more on a niche market and done a couple other things.
Nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. As you were reading the Lone Star case, what were your thoughts? What did you think DaCosta should have done?
I don't know. I think part of me wanted to say, if he hurt even a little bit, just close the door and remove himself from the situation, even though it's not helping her. But in the long run, it didn't help her anyhow. So I don't know. It's a tough thing. Where he heard all of it, I think I would have gone to her first and said, I overheard your conversation. What can I do to help? I don't know if I would have called right away and found out stuff, especially since all that stuff's tracked and stuff. But it's a tough thing. I found it interesting, though. I had to keep reading back. He automatically knew who she was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say name or anything. She said boss, so you would assume, yes, her direct boss, but she could have been using boss as a general term. And I looked back and I couldn't find a spot where she ever said his name, and he automatically assumed that it was this individual, who I guess it was. But I found it interesting that he just jumped right away to, oh, it's got to be this guy. And
Mm-hmm.
she could have been using it more of as a general term rather than a specific, it's my boss.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't catch that. I forgot she said it was just her boss. I guess that makes sense with the quiz. How Ron French wasn't the right answer.
Yeah. What do you think? What would you have done?
I don't know. It was a tough case study in all honesty. I would have gone to her first instead of, yeah. I mean, because if you hear it, you don't want that to continue. You don't
Mm-hmm.
really want to become part of it. So I would have gone to her first, and um, I don't know it because I mean there is a point you have to keep the company in mind, especially if she does get laid off,
Yeah.
because then she might try and retaliate a little bit, and then you could get stuck in a legal situation. So
Right.
I guess it really depends on company culture. Um, because I know some companies really don't tolerate it at all. When I was working as an electrician, we had we had one woman in the company that works as an electrician as well, and one of the guys on the job site made a comment about how women belong in the kitchen with her around,
Oh,
and she went to the upper level management in the company and told them, and he got sent home for 3 weeks with a new baby. So it was they were very serious about it, and that I think that was good for the rest of the company to see. Just it's just that little comment, but it was offensive to her, and they actually did something about it.
right.
So I think if you have a company culture like that, it would be a lot easier. Um, it would be a lot easier to do things.
Uh, right. Everybody would know too that this is the standard that they're going for, and
Hmm.
it'd be easier to step up or say something or take action.
Yeah, I think if he didn't want it, like if he talked to her and she says, I really don't want to be turned in, learn a little bit more about the circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, maybe help her gather evidence, or talk to whoever, find out who it was first, and
Right.
then talk to them.
Well, and it's possible that maybe he also um, has a way that he can have her move to a different location, or somehow help her that way, help the situation by removing her. She works under somebody else now or something, if he knows about it.
Yeah, that's possible too.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let's see what other questions I had here. Um,
Can I say something?
um,
I don't have my questions in front of me. What else does it say?
I'm going through it right now. Looks like we're supposed to do a role play with our whole group, but if we have more than 5 people, I'm supposed to assign more than one of the people to more than one area. So I think we'll just skip that one. Let's see if there's anything else. Not really there. I don't know. I mean, do you think one thing I kind of wonder with the company is if the EEO office took the right course of action.
Yeah, she did sound pretty exasperated with him. Like,
Yeah.
If this goes to a lawsuit, then you're going to have to testify, and then you're going to almost not bullying per se, but like maybe scaring him a bit, or worst case scenario of if this goes to court, you're going to get in more trouble because you didn't say something.
Yeah.
Whereas he was just trying to find out what to do and how to best help and just some general information rather than actually saying something outright.
Yep. That's kind of what I thought too. It was very much scare tactics, and I felt like they handled it really poorly. I mean, because she obviously had concerns that, I mean, because I'm sure she assumed her husband was going to beat her up, and she knew her husband well enough that was going to happen, or he was going to come beat whoever the guy was.
I thought he was going to go get the guy. Yeah, I never ever thought that he would hit her.
Yeah.
That was shocking.
So I think there's a lot there.
It's also interesting that, and this says something about the company as well, is that, he's denying the claims, and it almost sounds like the company's like, oh, okay, he denied it, so sorry. So whose side are you on? I don't recall exactly everything that was said because it was just this morning that you read it to me, but that was one of my first thoughts. Well, of course he's going to deny it, but then at that point, it doesn't sound like they did much more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what did they say she made it up for because she was worried about layoffs or something?
Yeah, that's what he was saying, because she made it all up because she was to protect herself from pending layoffs.
And that seems crazy because isn't that one of the things they say is that, what is it called? There was a word for it. If you're scared of losing your job, so you go through with that. So you're scared of losing your job, so you put up with the sexual harassment. But he's saying that she made up the sexual harassment because she was scared of losing her job.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense, but
yeah. So that's a little something else. I think it was handled poorly on all sides, but I guess most on the company side. Like, the company could have gone to her first without going to her boss and say, okay, let's figure this out.
Right.
If this is happening, we need you to get this, and this information. I mean, it did say they tried to cooperate with her, I guess. And I don't know, from a legal point, if it's recorded and documented that they tried to work with her, they tried to get it resolved. I think they should be covered legally there.
Right.
I mean, because if she never actually tells anyone who it is.
Yes, that's true. Then there's
They,
no...
they just have her word to go with. I mean, she never submitted a claim. They tried working with her. She really can't come back around and sue them.
Right.
And then everybody, it could have just been her and DaCosta that knew.
Yeah. I think they could have given her some tools too. If she wasn't willing to actually file a claim and say much, they could have said, well, this is what you need to do in the situation then. These are some things that will help you. These are some things to say. This is what you should do. Or, something, even if she's not willing to go through with the actual claim and stuff, they could have helped her feel more empowered about the situation.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, yeah. So that makes more sense. I think would have been a lot better.
And it's interesting that the husband found out. Like, how? Did she go home and say, oh, by the way,
I'm under investigation.
I'm under investigation because of this and this and this? I mean, or did they call up the husband? I mean, surely they wouldn't do that, but...
Yeah. Yeah. She should be called her to work. So, yeah. So with the kind of moving on to the doohickeys problem.
Yes.
So he was saying it needs to be like 3,500 words or something like that, right?
So, yeah, 3,000 to 4,500, 3,000 to 4,000 or something like that. Yeah.
That's, how many pages is that?
5.
5 pages. Okay. And do you remember what Carrie was doing?
So, I was going to do the first one and collect all the stuff. She sent me an email that listed the points that she had made that she thought were problems. And hang on a second. Let me go grab my paper. It's in the other room.
Okay.
All right. So the email that she sent me said that she found diversity training and performance reviews would help. And actually, it was just bullet points that she sent me with a little line. But and I agree that diversity is one of the problems. Now, training, I can see where that's a problem, but it's not in the 4 things that we've discussed so far. So I don't think it goes on this doohickey problem. I think it needs to go further down after we've discussed it, if I'm understanding this whole thing correctly.
Okay.
And performance reviews, it could be that. I think we could put that in there because we've done teams and performance appraisals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of lumped it together and did like teamwork as one of my bullet points. So I did diversity, teamwork, and actually I did harassment because that's in this group, and there was that little blurb about harassment. So those were the 3 problems that I came up with that were in the problem, and they were over the 4 sections that we've covered so far.
Okay.
And I wrote up a little paragraph on each of them that I thought, but I find it quite tricky. He wants 4 solutions for each problem. And I don't feel like we have learned enough material to come up with 4 solutions for these problems. And that's where I'm a little confused as to, are we to go out to outside sources and find out these solutions, or stick with the material that he has given us?
I'm good with going to outside sources for it.
Okay. Well, maybe if we have the 3 problems, maybe if each of us came up with a solution for each of those problems, they would be enough different that that we would have at least three solutions
Yeah, then we can just we can all brainstorm the fourth solution.
on the fourth solution. Yeah.
Do we want to meet again? Either we can either do a hangout like this, or just all get on a Google Doc and start making.
I think, isn't this due on Saturday?
Yes.
That's what I thought. My thought is, I don't know if I'm going to have time again to meet because of I have 2 events tonight. I have a lunch event tomorrow, and then a homecoming for CU is on Saturday. So I'm hoping to get the paper done Friday night.
Okay.
So I don't know if there'll be time per se to meet again on a hangout. But if we keep working on it and adding things to it, perhaps that would work. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we can do that. So we'll each come up with one solution, and then if we have more ideas, maybe we can come up with more.
Right. Well, and if we see those, yeah, if you come up with 2 solutions, then maybe add those and then see. But that only gives us today and tomorrow to figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh my heaven.
Should be okay.
Okay.
Well, I've got a few hour break between my last class and firefighting. I'll work on it and try and get throw some ideas out there and get a good paragraph written on them.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
I'll email Carrie and let her know. I just checked my email and actually did get an email from her right before we started. She said, "I'm sorry, I woke up sick. I'm going back to bed. I agree, sexual harassment is wrong."
Poor thing. I hope she's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, if you don't mind sending her a quick email and just telling her this is our plan to come up with one solution for the paragraphs that I've already inserted in there. Hopefully, can you get on the Google Docs right now and make sure that showed up?
It did, yeah. I'm on it right now.
Okay. So if we can have one solution for each problem, then perhaps we'll get it all figured out.
That'll work. Yeah, I'll get her emailed and get this video posted. And
perfect. And then are you going to write up the paper too for this?
Yes, yeah, I'll go ahead and be the group leader.
Thank you very much. All right. Is there anything else we need to cover?
No, I don't think so. That was about it in a nutshell. We could have had a lot more discussion if we had a bigger group, but we have a small group, so that's just fine.
Yeah. So on Friday night, I will finish up the Google Docs, or excuse me, the doohickey problem, and then I will submit it sometime Saturday morning-ish once I finish it up.
Okay.
And then we'll correspond via email or something if there's any other problems or issues.
Okay. Are you familiar with Google Docs? And
not very.
Okay, they're really fun. If you have, yeah, they're really easy to edit and things. But I guess one of the easiest things, there's a comments box. And you can insert comments kind of off to the side of paragraphs if you see something needs, like if it needs to be changed or anything like that.
Okay.
So, and yeah, anything you do gets put into it as it's cool. It's like as it's happening, as you're writing, it's saving it so everyone else can see it. It's really fun.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll be in touch.
Hey, you as well. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.